okay.
questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got more questions?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Elvis Fans Matter. We got questions.
Questions.
And answers.
And answers. All right, let's get started. Let's see. I was just wondering what relation Donna Presley is to Billy.
None.
None.
She's not related to you, but was she Elvis's cousin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
First
so
cousin.
Elvis's cousin on Vernon's side.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Her mother, Nash, her mother married Earl Pritchett, and that was Donna's maiden name was Donna Pritchett.
Okay.
And but her mother was Nashville or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. I know.
Lorraine Pritchett.
Yeah.
I mean Presley.
Presley, and then she married.
She married
Pritchett.
Earl Pritchett.
Okay. So Donna's name's actually
Pritchett.
Pritchett, not
I
Presley.
think Donna had her name changed. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But she's Elvis's first cousin.
First cousin. Okay. Does Billy remember what Aunt Gladys would cook for breakfast? Did she make homemade biscuits? Did you eat?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
eat with them very often?
Not very often, but I have been out there and had breakfast,
Okay.
at Graceland and
Was she a good
basic
cook?
stuff, bacon, eggs, and just the regular.
Did she
stuff.
make gravy?
Yeah, sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was she a
Brown
good
gravy
cook?
and- Huh?
Was she a good
She was
cook?
a good cook, yes.
So, did
But
she
did
cook
she-
a lot out there, or when once they were in Graceland and started having, did they have cooks and,
Yeah.
and maids when she was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had one maid,
Alberta.
and Alberta was her name, and
Okay.
she would do the cooking sometimes.
Okay.
A lot of times Aunt Gladys would cook, especially for Elvis, she would cook for him and
I remember Lamar talking about meals they had, things she would cook,
yeah.
like Crowder peas, and he said we would have, she would cook and we'd have like Crowder peas and cornbread and sliced tomatoes and
So
corn,
country.
yeah, fried chicken or something like that. But Elvis I guess he always liked Crowder peas. I remember him
Yeah.
having those
Yeah.
with his meal, mashed potatoes, stuff like that.
But she did still often cook.
Oh,
even
yeah,
though they had
she,
to.
yeah.
And you brought up Alberta. Somebody said, do y'all know whatever happened to Alberta after she left Graceland?
Actually, Vernon fired her
Fired her, yeah.
Oh,
when
He came home from
Germany one time.
For I think about a week, and he let her go then.
personal reason.
Personal reasons, yeah. I won't
Okay.
say what,
alright.
But
Then they hired a whole new crew.
when Elvis came back from the army, they hired
New ones.
new maids.
Okay.
Mary and Mary Jenkins, Lottie, and Lottie was one of the last ones.
Nancy.
Nancy, Pauline.
Where was Alvina?
She
Alvina
out
was in California.
California, okay.
Alvina Roy and Lillian. What was Lillian's last name?
Jackson.
Jackson. Lillian Jackson, and Alberta was one out there named Alberta. And her daughter Barbara sometimes.
So,
They were all nice.
All right. Who lost their wedding band at the Circle G Ranch? Was it Elvis or Priscilla?
I lost mine down there. No,
Elvis.
Elvis did. Yeah, that. He said he lost it.
He
I just ain't real sure.
Elvis didn't like anything that tagged him
Yeah.
or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We have this one follower from Saltillo, Mississippi. He's a big Ole Miss fan. His name is Chris
Jocelyn.
He said to ask y'all, did a strange man call and ask you for a $10,000
He sure
loan?
Yes,
did.
he
That's
did.
what- and I
Yes.
told him, I said, yeah, I got it. Right here. Come on up and get it. And,
I still owe you that peanut butter and banana fried sandwich too,
and
Chris.
I owe you something besides that. pulling a joke on me.
Chris is a really good friend of ours and Danny's, and he just he's
But
like
we say
he's like
hello to
family.
Chris and his wife and his daughters.
He has beautiful daughters.
I'm gonna say
And a
hey,
wife.
even though he's an Ole Miss fan, I'm still gonna say hey, Chris. Alright. It says on a another YouTube channel, somebody said that in February of '75, Vernon had a heart attack, and when Elvis went to see him, Vernon blamed Elvis for his heart attack and for your Aunt Gladys's death. They want to know if that's actually, that it's been told that that happened, but do you know that if that's true? And was it just out of grief?
I don't know about Aunt Gladys's part, but he did say.
He did say it.
He told Elvis, he said, he said, all the stuff, son, you doing and all that, he said, you're the
Put me
cause
through.
I'm in here.
From stress and worry.
Yeah. And of course that hurt Elvis's
It was
feelings.
a hell of a
but-
thing to say to Elvis.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But that was like a Vernon. He was outspoken, and
Yeah, he
same
was.
way with Elvis. Elvis,
Do you think it was out of grief and madness, or do you think he truly felt that way?
who?
Vernon.
I think he truly felt
I
that
think
way.
he felt like that. He Elvis. He believe it or not,
Could put a strain on you.
he put a lot of strain on his daddy. As far as keeping up with stuff, and and
Things he did. His daddy
Things he
worried,
did, and,
worried about him. And
Uncle Vernon, he was, one that watched over the finances here.
Right.
yeah,
And
and I'm sure
he knew
worried
what
about
that
him.
bank account was, and when it dropped, $100,000, maybe $200,000, in 2 or 3 months' time, you get a little concerned, and then you go to the person, and when that person tell you don't, that's my damn money, I'll do what I want to with it, then see what kind of stress it put on you.
Right.
Y'all know what I mean?
In your opinion, again, all of our videos, unless it's just a downright fact, if it's when they're asked what do you think, they're giving their opinion. So this person says, in your opinion, was Vernon coerced into naming Priscilla as the executor of the will?
It's very possible because everything was left to Lisa, and I think Uncle Vernon felt more comfortable with the fact that Lisa's mother being controlled than somebody
Than somebody
else.
else.
And and that's my opinion. I don't
Priscilla brought Lisa to see him
know. Yeah. Even when
when he was in the hospital,
Yeah,
and
in the hospital
I think
and all
that's. I don't know if that. I don't know for sure, but I think that's when all that came about.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It says, is it true that Elvis rented or paid rent for some apartments that were across from Graceland for friends and relatives like Johnny Smith and his wife and children, Jerry Schilling, any of the guys?
He always paid for the guys, unless they were, like if they were married and had a home or apartment or something, the guys paid for it themselves.
Right.
But when they were working for Elvis he either had them staying at one of those hotels down the road from Graceland, and he paid for that, I'm sure. Or else some of them may have stayed at Graceland for a short time, but a lot of them had apartments. And
family-wise, he most of the time he didn't pay for their house and all, like my mom and daddy and the rest of the family.
He paid them a salary.
Carol and Uncle Vest and all them,
But if they worked for him, they got paycheck.
they got
Yeah.
paycheck, and out of their paycheck they paid for
That's
their
what they did.
own.
But I know, like when Joe started going with me, we had an apartment out in California, and he paid for that.
Okay.
Yeah, we lived on Perugia Way with Elvis at his house for the first time I went out, and for about almost a year out there. And then when we came back, and we went back we had Joey, and we got an apartment because, you know, 2 kids, and
Right.
Elvis paid for ours. He always paid for ours.
Do Billy and Joe feel like Priscilla dressed better when Elvis was dressing her, or I guess paying for her clothes and maybe saying how he liked her to dress? Or do you think once she was on her own, she
Well,
did things better?
I've always said, and like when Priscilla came, she didn't. Most of the time, Elvis was in California, and she was back at Graceland, but she didn't get the credit cards and the, you know, stuff like the other girlfriends got. She got so much at a time. Vernon would give her, and she just didn't. I mean, I know we used to go out and put things in layaway. She had layaways all over. You know, we'd go to this place called Shaneberg's and different dress shops and things, and we'd put, even out in California, we'd go to farmers market, and there were little shops and things, and she would, you know, she was just on a budget, I guess. I don't know, but she never had a lot of money. That
Who put her on? You think Elvis put her on a budget, or did Vernon?
I
mean,
think
did he
probably
look at
Elvis told his
finances?
daddy to give her money when she needed it or wanted it, and you just had to know how Vernon was. If you were on a budget, it was a budget.
Yeah.
But she, I mean, I'm just saying from what I observed. I don't know for sure. I think she dressed better and bought nicer clothes after they married and after she left. And she bought nicer things. And now she had, I mean, Elvis always gave her stuff, but like compared to a Lincoln Continental or a Cadillac or a sports car, Priscilla got a Corvair Monza. First. That's what Elvis bought her first. To go back and forth to school, and we've been all over the place in her little Monza. And then later she got a
Cadillac Eldorado.
Yeah, Cadillac Eldorado.
Gold.
Yeah,
Remember it well.
because y'all carried it out there to her.
Yeah.
But she didn't get big things like that at first. I think, you know, probably made up for it later, but
It says that it was reported that Elvis told Marty Lacker right before his wedding that he really didn't want to get married, but at that point had no choice and had to go through with it. Do you know that to be true? Did Marty ever say?
yeah, Marty did say, yeah, that's true.
Marty said and Elvis said that, yeah.
Yes,
Why do you think he didn't have a choice?
because I think this is just what I think. And Billy probably
Our
think
opinion,
about
yeah.
the same thing. I think that she came over here when she was like 17, and Elvis had, you know, she'd stayed with him all that time, and I think he got a lot of pressure from her daddy, and I think Colonel had a hand in that. You know, it might not be good if he decided he didn't want to be with her anymore, or after her being young and
Like
be,
the publicity
you know,
kind
yeah,
of
like
thing.
maybe he would have taken advantage of her or something. But you know, that's what me and Billy have talked about before. But I don't think Elvis ever wanted to get married, because that way he didn't have to. Elvis was funny about, he didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and when somebody would come and go, it's just like, okay, I'll, you know, bye, and I'll see you. You know, well, he may never call him and have another date with him, or have one of the guys to go get him. He just was like that. He didn't like to have any confrontation.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
That's
I heard my stomach growl.
I did too.
That
what
is
it says.
pitiful.
Did Priscilla always speak in a low,
Unknown tongue.
weird?
Most of it was unknown.
Oh well, I gotta pass that out. I
Home
guess.
for the silly. Home for the silly right here, candidate.
Said, did Priscilla always speak in a low, this is just a person's question, low, weird, soft-spoken voice, or is that just for the cameras? Did she always sound like she does now, or is that kind of more camera and Hollywooded up?
She never talked in a real low tone to me, you know, with us. Now her voice, I know what you're talking about. I think she's, you know, pushed it up a notch.
Like the Hollywood type. Almost, I guess what they're talking about is kind of like the whisper.
Yes.
The soft whisper. Yeah, okay.
You know, I've noticed Jerry talks that way too. Jerry Schilling. He's always talked real soft. And,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why she does it. I guess it's just her lost her voice. I don't know.